Hi BookTube, Sara here and welcome to my channel. Today I'm coming to you with my weekly reads for August the 31st through September the 6th. This is for week number 36. I finished 6 books this week. 3 of the books I'm going to share with you were all finished on the 31st of August. The other 3 are ones that I have finished so far in September. So not fantastic start to the month, but that's okay. It's okay. We don't worry about I truly do not worry about that anymore. You know, like how many books I finish and stuff like that. It's a moot point. I just want to read to enjoy and not stress myself out. So everything is going to be timestamped in the description box below. If you want to jump to an individual review of a certain book, or I am going to be showing you guys my currently reading, of course, and then I'm going to talk about my few books that I got from NetGalley, 10 this week, which is very exciting. And then I am going to share with you a very small book haul. I know, if you watched my channel on Saturday, you probably saw the massive book haul that I had. The 200 mystery books, essentially, or 200 books that were in mystery boxes. I didn't know exactly what books I was getting. So yeah, I had that huge book haul. But prior to that, the day before, my husband and I had gone 2 chapters indigo, and I picked up 3 books there. So yeah, I have a small book haul for that I want to show you guys. And then, of course, I'm going to show you a bit of my knitting, which I kind of talked about in a video on Friday, that I might bring that back here. I'm still trying to decide exactly. I think this might be the best way to go just because it's just easier just having the one channel and just doing the one thing and, you know, being completely happy with that. So, again, work in progress. We shall see. But for today, this is what we're going to do. So let's jump into the books that I finished this week. So the first one that I finished was 2 Points to Murder by Carolyn Keene. I gave this one 3.5 stars. I read it as an ebook. It is Nancy Drew Files book number 8. These are the ones that came out in the 80s. And this one was good. But still, I mean, they are still relatively unbelievable. Like, it's a little bit odd. So the whole premise of the story is that Nancy has been asked by the coach of this college football or college basketball team to come and find out about this practical joker, because the practical joker is pulling these jokes, and the team is kind of getting thrown off. Sorry for the pun. Getting thrown off their game, and they're not winning, and they need to win state championships. And Nancy's boyfriend Ned is actually the center or the star, one of the stars, one of the head players on the team or something like that. So Nancy goes out with her cousins Bess and George, and the 3 of them investigate what is happening. So there was a lot of action. There is always a lot of action in these, and a lot more high stakes, I find, than the original series, the one that came out in the 30s. Now I'm only slowly working my way through that one. I do not know if they get more tension filled as the series progresses into the, 70s and 60s and 70s and stuff like that for time period. So anyway, the one thing that kind of bothered me about this one is that they're making this huge deal about the fact that there's a practical joker, and I'm thinking, it's a practical joker, is that really such a big deal? And the fact that it has to be such a big deal that this team wins, oh my god, like they have to win state. But I guess maybe because I'm Canadian, that we do not put as much onus on college and university sports the way it is in the States. Like, you guys, like in the States, they got the not the NCAA, is it the NCAA, like March Madness. My father always loved watching March Madness. And I can remember when he was working, they would have like like people would be taking bets, and you'd like join a fantasy, all these things. And Dad also loved watching college football. Like, it was a big to do. It's not the same up here. I mean, sports are still big here, but not to the extent that they are in the US. So I guess that's why I was kind of like, really, is this such a big deal? But regardless, it was still an enjoyable story. It was really fun. I mean, very 80s, right? The killer, or the bad guy, drove a black Camaro, and like that was very much a 1980s kind of thing, I guess. And yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Like I said, 3.5 stars. It was a fun read, and I'm enjoying reading my way through them. The next one that I finished was The Truth About Cowboys by Lisa Renee Jones. I gave this one 4 stars. I read this as an audiobook, and it was narrated by Andy Arndt and Sebastian York, which is a narration duo that I really like. They do a lot of narration together, and I think they're fantastic. This is book number 1 in the Texas Heat series. I did get some challenges for this one. I got, for the million more pages, I got the bingo spot, which was to read a book set on a farm or on a ranch. For the where I'm trying to get all 50 states. I got the state of Texas for this one. For my summer fling, this was my second last category, which was down home country. And then for my nothing but reading challenges group, for the TBR tackle, this was my, oh no, sorry, I put two things here. Sorry. For my romance readers reading challenge group, this one was reader's choice. So yay. So this one was a really fun cowboy romance. The premise of this one is about our main characters, Jessica and Jason. And Jessica has just suffered a big breakup. So she decides to rent this cottage in like the middle of nowhere, Texas, and take 3 months or so off. She is a divorce attorney, and she has actually been commissioned. Is commission the word I'm looking for? She's been given an advance to write a book about like the girl's guide to divorce, kind of an idea. So she decides to take these 3 months, go stay in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And it's not called Nowhere, Texas. It's just the middle of nowhere, Texas, or in Texas, and write her book. So anyway, she arrives there on a dark and stormy night and runs into this very imposing looking cowboy. Well, what happens through a case of like people not talking to other people is that the cottage that she's renting actually belongs to Jason, and it's on his ranch. And his grandmother, who lives with him, she rented it out to Jessica. So it sounds like the way it goes is like it's like the grandmother is kind of doing some of the matchmaking, which is absolutely delightful. So yeah, this one was really cute. I like this one a lot. Great cowboy romance. This one gets very, very, very hot and spicy. If you look at the cover that I have up here, it's a really cute, looks like a cowboy contemporary. But if you go on Audible, because this is available on Audible Escape, which is how I listen to it. If you look at the cover, it's like black and white, and it's like this. It's a very different vibe I get from that cover. I'll pop it up here just so you guys can see it. And it's a very different vibe, and you can very much tell, looking at the audiobook cover, exactly how spicy this one gets. Like this one gets very, very hot, very spicy, but it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Again, great cowboy romance, and 4 stars. The next one that I read, you guys have probably already watched my month-end wrap-up, so you'll know this was my favorite book of the month, and it was the last one that I finished, and that was Hairpin Curves by Elia Winters. I gave this one 5 stars. This one I read as an ebook, and yeah, I read it as an ebook, sorry. And for my challenges, I got the state of Florida for the places you go bingo. And Florida, I gave it, even though this is a road trip, and for the bulk of the book, they are driving up the eastern seaboard of the U.S. It starts in Florida, and about the first quarter of the book takes place there. So I thought, and they keep mentioning about when they get back to Florida, so that's why I counted it as that. And then for my my August romance readers group, I got number 7, which was Book Lovers Day, which was read a book that you think you're going to love. And clearly, I loved this book. So I already talked about this one again in my wrap-up, but I'm just going to go over it again briefly because this is such a good book. So it's about Scarlett and Megan, who were friends when they were kids, and then they had a falling out when they got to university, or when they got to college. They haven't spoken to each other in about 5 or 7 years or so. And then another friend of theirs is getting married in Quebec City in Canada. So the two of them decide to embark on a road trip from Florida to Canada. And this is a female-female romance. And I say it's a frenemies to lovers because, like I said, they were friends, then they weren't. Now they're going to be friends again. And this was just absolutely delightful. Sorry about gore and crying in the background. I'll be with you in just a minute, sir. Oh my goodness. I'll be right back, guys. I am so professional. I had to stop filming for a minute so I could go play with the cat. He had dragged he has his feather on a stick in here, and he's in, because the door is closed, as you can see, but he had that, and he's like, I want to play. Anyway, so back to the book. So what I loved about this, as much as I really enjoyed the romance, I thought it was really well done and very organic, and nothing was forced or anything. And I don't want to use the term forced as in like, in a bad way, but like the romance seemed very natural, like the way it progressed and stuff like that. Like it didn't happen like right off the bat. But it was also the rebuilding of their friendship, which I thought was really good. And this was my first female-female romance. I've never read one before. And as I said in my wrap-up, the book this has really set the bar high for female romances for me. It was very light. It was very contemporary. I have seen a lot of them where they tend to go to like the darker romance, which is not my cup of tea. This is definitely a light side romance, if you will. And if you're looking for a place to start and you're not too sure if it's a subgenre that you're going to enjoy, definitely start here, because you're gonna, it's not all going to be about the adult content. And now there is some adult content in here, but it's on, again, the lighter side. It's, a page or so long. You can very easily skip it if you're not interested, but it's very well done. And the book itself was fantastic. And I'm so, so glad that I read it. The next book that I finished, the first one for the month of September, was Fall from Pride by Karen Harper. I gave this book 3.5 stars. This I listened to on audio, and it was narrated by Gracie Peters. For the series, this is book number 1 in the Home Valley series. And for my September Triple RC, for my monthly challenge, I got number 4, which was World Letter Writing Day, which was to read a book where they pass notes or something to each other. The characters pass notes or write letters to each other. So this one is an Amish romantic suspense. I liked it, but I didn't love it. There were some things in this book that I found very, very unbelievable. So this is the story of Sara and Nate. And Sara is Amish, and Nate works for like the fire for the state of Ohio. It takes place in Ohio. He works for like the fire warden or something like that. And anyway, he is sent to Home Valley, Ohio, which is the town this all takes place in. And he is investigating these fires, these barn fires, that these Amish barns are being burned to the ground. So he's there to investigate, and he meets Sara. And Sara kind of agrees to be his interpreter in a way between the Amish and the English, community, kind of an idea. Because, of course, he doesn't know their culture or anything at all like that. And it was good. And like I said, though, there were parts of it that were really unbelievable. What I really found unbelievable was the character of Sara. She was supposed to be Amish, raised Amish her whole life, but yet she seemed to know a heck of a lot about forensic police work. Like I said, there's a part where it's like they have to have passed notes to each other. And one night there's a note stuck to her door with a sewing pin or something like that, saying stay away, that kind of keep out kind of an idea. And she knows enough to put this note in a plastic baggie so that the fingerprints stay intact. No, sorry. And there were other things too. And then there were other instances, I could talk today, in the book. I haven't had coffee yet, you guys. In the book that made her very, very Amish and very, very naive. And I just thought it was just a big, it was just two different sides to the same coin, and it just wasn't working for me. It just didn't flow. And I didn't like it. And then the romance between her and Nate, it just seemed to be really pushing the boundaries for an Amish girl. I mean, in retrospect, it was very light and very, very, very tame. There is no adult content in this at all, but they end up in the barn together, and there is some getting to second base, and I'm like, really? She's Amish. And the fact that her parents, or her father especially, and the bishop, let her spend alone time with this man, again, very unbelievable. But the mystery itself was very interesting, and that's what I was more there for than the romance itself. So, it was good. If you like, the Amish stories, or the ones that take place in Amish country, definitely give this one a try. But overall, I didn't absolutely love it. The next one that I finished was Home for the Holidays by Sara Richardson. This was a NetGalley read. So this comes out, it's not out yet, comes out September 22nd. And thank you very much to Forever for sending me an eARC copy of this one to review. I read this as an ebook for a few challenges. For getting the 50 states, I got the state of Colorado because that's where the bulk of the story takes place. For the quarterly cookie challenge, the 7-layer magic cookie bars, I got that one, and because it was somebody that's keeping a secret, and there's a lot of secrets being kept in this book. And for the Triple RC challenge, for the monthly challenge, I got Happy Birthday September, which was number 1, which is to read a book published in September. So I really enjoyed this book. Now, I buddy read this with my friend Chloe over at Always Booked, and Bree from Falling for Romance on Instagram. And I'll leave link to both of them in the description box below. And I really enjoyed this one. I think out of the three of us, I gave this one the highest star rating. I gave it a 4-star. The other girls liked it but didn't love it as much as I did, and it got us into a discussion because I have been reading Sara Richardson for a number of years, and I really, really love her work. And I think that as a reader, when you are reading a book by an author you particularly enjoy, you tend to rate it a bit higher just because it's an author you really enjoy. Does that make sense? Like, okay, for one, it's going to definitely get a 1-star rating from me, regardless, because it's an author I love, you know? And then it just kind of builds from there. So I enjoyed this one a lot. Like, to be completely honest, I really did. So the story is about 3 sisters named Rose, Magnolia, and Delilah. And they are living in different parts of the country. One's in Savannah, one's in Florida, one's in Minnesota. And they all get these letters from their aunt who lives in Colorado, where they spent a lot of their Christmases and summer holidays when they were young, that this is going to be her last Christmas this is going to be her last Christmas, and she wants to spend it with the girls, so they think she's dying. So they, drop everything essentially and head off to Colorado, only it turns out that she's getting rid of the inn that she had been running for many, many, many years. So then the story kind of goes from there, and each of the women kind of have their own story, and each chapter is told from a different woman's perspective. So Rose is like engaged to this guy who's from a very well-to-do family in Savannah, and she's kind of feeling the pressure of trying to live up to this family's expectations and whether or not she wants to actually get married or not. And then there is Delilah, who is divorced from her husband, and her children are spending Christmas with their dad and his new girlfriend in France. And then Magnolia is dealing with, infertility. Sorry. She and her husband are dealing with an infertility issue. So I'm not going to tell any more than that. I kind of went into this one not knowing too much about it. I thought it was really great on the Christmas aspect of it because that's something that's kind of a bit harder to, like we've talked about, like me and my friends have talked about this, like, even though a story is like a Christmas story, is it really feel like Christmas? And this one felt like Christmas. Like, it just felt like this little town was so magical, and this inn, and, it just felt Christmas to me. Now, the one thing I am going to say though, and, this is a bit of all I'm going to say about this is if you are personally dealing with infertility issues, you might struggle with this one a bit or a lot, because one of the things that happens, from what I've now learned, because I didn't know a lot about infertility issues and the things that people do in order to potentially have a baby. I learned a lot after reading this one and talking with my friends about this, that what happens towards the end of this book is extremely unlikely and unbelievable. And I think it does a disservice, now that I've read it and I understand more, it does a disservice to those who are suffering from this. And I don't think it's fair. That I kind of wish that her story had ended differently. Not that I didn't want the character to be happy, but there's other ways to be happy. And again, I do not want to give away too many spoilers, but overall, outside of that, I really, really, really enjoyed the book, and I highly recommend it to you guys. And the last one that I finished was Beware Dawn by Ann M. Martin. I read it as an ebook, and I gave it 3.5 stars. It is book number 2 in the Babysitter's Club mystery series. This one was cute. Again, not much of a mystery. Like, I read the first one a few months ago, like Stacy and the Missing Ring, I think it was. And again, there's not much of a mystery in this one. There's some guy or some person leaving these, scary notes for the babysitters and calling the houses they're babysitting at, not saying anything, and then hanging up. So they're trying to find out who it is. And, the actual, crime solving doesn't really happen until almost the end of the book. So, but it was fun. I love these books. And I have to say, though, this one was written in 91, I think it was. And it was very much a product of its time, because there's a line in there that they were talking, the babysitters were all talking, and they said something like, oh, it could be anybody who's doing this. It could be this person. It could be this person. They said, it could be the Queen, like Queen Elizabeth. And then one of the other babysitters says, well, I don't think that she would be doing that, but maybe Princess Di. And then I thought, if kids are reading this today, are they really going to know that reference? But I appreciate the fact, as someone who read them originally, that they did not rewrite the books. I think that they may have changed the first so many of them, but overall they didn't really muck with them. They just kept them the way they were, and that made me happy. Like, after I read that, I thought, okay, they didn't update references, essentially. They kept it for the nostalgic for those of us who read them as kids. So yeah, so I enjoyed that one. It was fun. And yeah, so that is all for what I have read this week. Not too shabby, 6 books, better than last week, right guys? So what am I currently reading? I'm currently reading 2 very different books. My current audiobook is actually Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is one of the ones for the Fall Into Reading Challenge. And this is one that I mentioned this one in my TBR for the month, that I read this book before. And the beginning part, like, I'm about 22% of the way through it right now. My audiobooks, I prefer to listen to them at 1.5 speed. I know a lot of people that's very, very slow. Audiobook speed is like a very controversial topic to start talking to people about, because, some people are like, oh my God, that's so slow. And other people, it's like, oh, I listen at 4 times speed or whatever. I just couldn't do that. I think especially for a classic, you really need to pay attention to it, because the wording is different and they seem a lot denser and things like that. So 1.5 speed is about where I would read naturally, my natural reading speed, essentially. So I'm only about 22% of the way through it, and I'm at a part now where I don't remember. Like, I read it before, and I really think the last 75% of this book I completely glossed over. So up until this point, I'm remembering a lot of the things that I remember the first time, but now I'm hitting an area where I'm not remembering it so well. So it's about our main character, Jane, and she had a very bad childhood growing up with, she was a ward. Her parents were killed, and I think it was her uncle's wife or something like that is who she's living with, and her not so delightful children. And then she gets sent off to this school. And then it jumps ahead a number of years, and now she's a teacher at the school, but she's looking to make a change. So she puts an ad out, or an advertisement, if you will, to become a governess, and she gets hired. And that's the point of the book that I'm at now. She has just arrived to, is it Mr. Rochester's house or estate? Yeah. So that's where I am right now. And I'm enjoying it. This is one that is an Audible, like, exclusive one. And I did buy a copy of this on audio the first time I listened to it. And it is narrated by Tandy Newton, who I believe is an actress, and she's doing a brilliant job on the narration, I have to tell you guys. And the other thing that I wanted to share about this one very quickly is that I decided that in October, because it is Victober, and I've never participated in Victober, which is Victorian literature in the month of October, that me and my friend Rainey over at Rainy Day Reads, I'll link her channel below too, we are going to buddy read A Woman in White next month. And we're also going to read, I think, Unmentionable by Teresa O'Neill, which is a nonfiction about what it would have been like being a woman living in Victorian times. I've read it before, but I want to give it a reread. It was either going to be next month or November for Nonfiction November, so we're going to do it in October. And I want to add one more. I thought, you know what, if I've already got 2, let's do a third. And I'm actually going to be listening to Wuthering Heights next month as well. I own that one on audio too. So now I've got Charlotte Bronte, and I think Wuthering Heights is it Emily Bronte who wrote that one? And then I thought, well, I've got 2 out of the 3 Bronte sisters. So in November, I'm going to listen to, oh my gosh, what's the story? What's the book called? I think it's by Anne Bronte. She wrote, I think, only 2. There was Agnes Grey, which is not the one I picked. It's the other one. Tenant of Wildfell Hall. That's the one I'm going to read, because I read the subnot and it sounds really good. So that's just kind of an upcoming what I'm going to be reading. So if you guys are interested in reading those along with me in October and November, please do. But I thought, oh my God, that'll get me 3 classics in the fall. So yeah, so that's a complete side note. But yes, I'm currently reading Jane Eyre. And on ebook, I am currently reading One More for Christmas by Sara Morgan. This is another advanced copy. I think this one comes out, I want to say, at either the 29th of September or the 6th of October. I can't remember. I'll put it right here if I can't remember, or if I, so you guys know. But I will be talking about it next week, and I'll give you guys the release date and all those things. So yeah, this one I'm enjoying. It's another women's fiction. Sara Morgan does one of these like every year. Start out with the Christmas Sisters, and then A Wedding in December, and now this one. So it's about 2 sisters who are estranged from their mother. Their mother's a very high-powered businesswoman, and the mother ends up getting hurt, and they end up all taking this big family vacation to Scotland for Christmas, and that's pretty much the plot of the story. So I'm right now only about a third of the way through it. My goal is to actually finish it today. I am filming this on Monday, the same day it's going to get posted. So my goal is to finish it today. So we shall see if I can get that done. So let's go new from Netgalley. And I'm going to run through these relatively quickly. But of course, I will list them all below as I always do. So you guys can go ahead and check them out if you're interested. So in no particular order here, we have Happily This Christmas by Susan Mallery. This one comes out on September the 29th. So thank you very much, Harlequin, for sending me this one. We also have A California Christmas by Brenda Novak. This one comes out October 13th. And again, many thanks to Harlequin for this one as well. Both of those last two covers I love. I know there's a lot of talk around about, you know, these cartoonish, you know, illustrated covers versus like in real life covers. If it were up to me, the covers would all be just like places. Like this one right here that I'm showing is just the wreath. I think that's beautiful. It doesn't need people. It doesn't need to be, you know, I get that this is kind of like an illustrated, whatever. I'm not going to argue with that point, but this is what I love. I love covers that show like the houses or the landscape or whatever. That's what makes me happy. That's my personal favorite. The next one is A Deadly Chapter by Essie Lang. This one actually doesn't come out till March the 9th, 2021. And thank you very much to Crooked Lane Books for this one. This is a cozy mystery. And I think it's something about the Castle Library series, so sounds good. We have The Tearoom on the Bay by Rachel Burton. This one comes out on October the 1st. And thank you very much to Elia and Aries, publishers, for this one. We have The Rancher Meets His Match by Kate Pearce. This one comes out December 29th. Many thanks to Kensington Books for this one. A Case of Cat and Mouse by Sofie Kelly. This one came out already on September 1st. And many thanks to Berkeley for sending me this one. I will try and get to it as soon as I can. We have Christmas Kisses by Judith Keim, I think is how you say her name. This comes out October the 1st. And thank you to Wild Quail Publishing for this one. We have Holiday in the Hills by Lilac Mills. I'm not making that up. It's kind of adorable that the author's name rhymes with her book title. And this one comes out on October the 8th. And thank you to Canelo, I think is the name of the publisher. But yes, I'm looking forward to this one. We have Moonlight over Studland Bay by Della Galton. This comes out November the 24th. And thank you to Boldwood Books for this one. And last but not least, Bayou Dreaming by Lexi Blake. This one comes out December the 1st. Thank you very much, Berkeley, for this one. So, that is that. Let me show you guys my very small book haul. So, all of these I already own. But I had to have them. So, first of all, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I bought a copy of it because I'm reading it, and I actually debated very briefly on actually reading the text. But for me, it's so much easier to get through classics in audiobook format. It's just the way that, you know, it's just me. They're very dense, but I thought I still wanted a copy for my shelves. So this one was relatively inexpensive. I think it was less than $10, and I just thought it was really, really a pretty copy. So I'm happy to have this one on my shelf. Let me just put it over here behind me because I do not know where else to put things because my desk is covered with stuff. I got this one. Now this I was totally shocked at. So they have like the bargain area at the Chapters Indigo that I go to. And I like looking there. And they had like 3 books for $10. Like $6 each or 3 for $10. And I was looking and I couldn't really find anything. And I thought I'm not just going to buy for the sake of buying. And then I saw this one and I was trying to convince my husband to pick 2 books. But there was really nothing there that he would have read. But I decided for $6 I was going to pick it up anyway. And this absolutely shocked me that this was sitting in a bookstore, like a new bookstore. And when I say new, I mean new titles, like not a used bookstore, in Canada. And that is One Summer in Paris by Sarah Morgan. Now, the reason this is such a surprise is this is the UK edition, you guys. This is the one that was put out by HQ. HQ, harpercollins.co.uk. So I have this book in the North American cover, and now I have it in the UK cover, and I didn't have to order it from Book Depository. So I was so thrilled, and it was only $6. So I'm so glad that I saw it, and I picked it up. Oh, I'm so thrilled. I still haven't actually read this one yet, but I'm going to, so maybe I'll read this copy, because it's just so pretty. I mean, I love the North American cover as well. But these ones are just so whimsical and so much fun. Like, you know, again, let's go back to that discussion about, you know, illustrated covers. The UK illustrated covers I love because they're whimsical. Whereas a lot of the ones that you're seeing now here in North America, yes, they are also whimsical, but I also feel like... So here's the thing. So these ones tend to be more women's fiction, more chicklet. So when you look at this cute, adorable cover, you know you're going to be getting a cute, adorable book that contains almost no adult content and is just a really nice, light, fun read. What you see on the cover is what is going to be inside the book. Whereas if you think about a book like Get a Life, Chloe Brown, adorable, adorable cover on that one, illustrated cover. Looks cute, looks sweet, but the inside gets very, very spicy. And I think that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the illustrated covers, I think, or covers in general, should really try and reflect what's in the book a bit more. But, you know, whatever. You can't make everybody happy at the end of the day, so it is what it is. But yeah, I am super happy that I got that one. And then the last one, I pre-ordered this one on audio from Audible. And I'm going to actually be reading it in October. But I got When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, because I am so thrilled for this thriller. And I cannot wait. This is going to be so, so good. So I had to support the author, pick this up. And it was on sale for, I think it was 25% off. Yeah, it was about 25% off. So I picked it up. And I thought, why not? Because it looked really cute. Or not looked cute. Looks really good. And I thought it might be longer, but whatever. I don't care. I love Alyssa Cole's writing. And I am so, so excited about her and with this new venture. And yeah, I'm really, really hoping to like this one. So, that is all for the book-related stuff. I am going to show you guys my knitting, so if you have no interest in that, thank you so much for tuning in to watch. And take care and happy reading. But for the rest of you, if you are interested in seeing, then let me show you some knitting. So I'm going to start off by showing you guys what I've been working on over the past little while. So I did finish a pair of socks, you guys. I'm very, very happy with these. I don't think I've ever shown these to you at all on this in these videos. So these were what I referred to as my Shark Week socks. So essentially, so there's the heel and all that stuff. So essentially what it was, this was put out by a knitting podcast called The Nitty Natty, and Shark Week was a few weeks ago. Like, is that on like A&E or Discovery or something? It's like a whole week of just like shark-related documentaries. So the whole thing was to knit a sock, like one sock in a week, and I did. So then I finished the second sock. Now, here's the funny thing, you guys. So that's the leg, the heel. The toe, or the foot on my one sock is actually... Did I mess up the entire sock? I just might have. Anyway, regardless, the foot on one is actually longer than... Oh, no, wait, it's the leg. So the leg is actually longer on one than the other. I messed up. I was just knitting away. But yeah, so these are pretty basic socks. These are just my plain vanilla sock pattern. The yarn is actually from a company called Unwind Yarn Company, and it's called Amok, which is, of course, a Hocus Pocus reference. So yay. So I'm glad I got those done. I have another pair of socks now. I can wash those and start wearing them because we need it. It's a grand overcast day today. I was worried about recording and what the lighting was going to be, but it looks really good on camera, so I'm quite happy with that. So of course I cast on another pair of socks because you always need more than one pair of socks on the needles. And the other pair that I cast on, I wanted to do a pair of like patterned socks. And this was a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's called Twizzlers. Pretty easy, straightforward knitting pattern. And I am knitting it in Knit Picks Felici, which is a self-striping yarn. Yarn cake's really a big mess, but yeah, there's the yarn. I'm totally going to have to fix that. It's going to drive me crazy. I'll fix that afterward, because if not, I'm going to sit here and try and fix it now. So this is what I've gotten done so far. So that's the pattern. So you see you're doing these slip stitches here. So this is the leg. This is the cuff at the top. So it would go, hit myself in the face with my needles. It would actually go that way. But yeah, like I said, self-striping yarn. So you're getting this like light pink, and then to the red, to the purple, the black, the gray, and then it's going to go back to this light color. And the colorway is called Vampire Vibes. So I always name the socks when I knit them, like, because it takes me so long to knit them. Like these I called my Shark Week 2020 socks. So these ones I have named them because it's a vampire colorway, and the pattern is called Twizzlers. These socks I have dubbed Vampires Love Twizzlers. Because why wouldn't vampires love Twizzlers? Everybody loves Twizzlers. So yeah, so that's what I've gotten done so far, and I'm really happy with them. So those are those. I'm going to put that up there so that ball of yarn doesn't get more messed up while it's in my bag. And then the last thing that got a bit of love this week, and I'm not going to show you guys the blanket because I legitimately haven't worked on it in a couple weeks. I just haven't had the urge to pick it up. I've been doing other things, but I'm hoping to get back to it this week and start putting squares in it because I'm running behind. I'm falling behind on the squares. So this is my hat. I like to cast on a new hat like every fall for myself, and you can, I don't know if you can see just over the door there, I've got about 4 or 5 of them sitting up there. So this is the yarn. The yarn is by Fiber Stash, and it's called Hayride. So a very, very appropriate fall colorway. It's going to be hard to see this now. You'll probably be able to see it better next week when I show you guys when I've got some more progress on it. But there is cabling in this hat. So as you can see, the stitches, let me see if I can get that to focus. The stitches are actually, I'm making them go in a different direction. So that'll go like, you'll see it more once I get more of the hat done. But it's a, come on. The pattern is called Caramel Brulee, and it's by Alicia Plummer. It is a paid for pattern online, hat pattern. And when I'm done the hat, it's going to have a pom-pom, you guys. I bought that at Michael's the other day. Is that not perfect? I love a big fuzzy pom-pom. They make me so happy. So yeah, so I've been working on that. But yeah, oh no, that's not it for the knitting because I have 6 minis to open up for you guys. So that's exciting. So let me see here. What do we have? So the first book that I finished this week was 2 Points to Murder, Carolyn Keene. Right here. One that's already wound up. Always love that. Nice bright yellow. Very pretty. And then I finished The Truth About Cowboys. Right there. This one I have to wind. Estelle something. I don't know. Just a brown. But it's still really pretty. Very soft too. And kind of like a tonal brown. It's very pretty. So we got that one. And then of course Hairpin Curves. Loved this book so much. Please, please do yourself a favor. Go out and read it. Ooh. Very pretty blue. That'll be nice. While I'm editing this video, I can go ahead and wind these into minis. And then I finished, which one was it next? Because I do like to try and keep these in order. I used to not, but now I do. Finished Fall from Pride by, I almost said it was by Harper Lee. Nope, by Karen Harper. Oh, wow, look at that color, you guys. Wow. That's like a bright green, isn't it? Oh, that's kind of awesome. Oh, I love it. And then we have, I finished Home for the Holidays by the great Sara Richardson. Her cowboy romances, you guys, are fantastic. Yes, I really like this Christmas one, but she's written other Christmas ones, like parts of series. I highly recommend that you check out her books. Ooh, this is pretty. It's kind of a purple and a gray and a green. It looks like it's a self-striping, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then last but not least, Beware Dawn by Anna Martin. Ooh, bright. It's not that bright. It's more of a burgundy on my end, but the sun and stuff like that is, or the outside is kind of blowing it out a bit. But yeah, very nice. So that is now all that we have for this video, you guys. So thank you all so very much for watching. I appreciate you tuning in as always. And yeah, let me know your favorite book that you read this week, or is there anything that you are crafting on? And until my next video, everybody, take care, happy reading, and happy knitting. Bye, guys.